let's try something new. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Today, fun fact, I have 10 minutes to do a review of chapter 161 of Gachiakuta, which is known as Opening. So, this chapter, boy, does it have a lot in it! In terms of, like, character work, lore work, background work, future work, question mark? And I think the biggest thing that has everyone losing their minds, even more than, the ending of the chapter and realistically the meat of it, it's this opening page with Tamzy. Now, it had long since been established that Tamzy was going on vacation. He had places to be, things to do. He came to Corvus, got the request in, and then up and dit from the narrative. He was not in the Doll Festival arc at all. So, of course, me and many others, as much as we love Tamzy, despite how much of a monster he is, kind of forgot that, he was even a character. And then Arana Sensei is like, oh, you forgot about Tamzy? Boom, Spearwright royalty. And of course, this isn't necessarily confirmed, but I, after reading the chapter, did a lot of peeking around, and it seems like a lot of people are on the same page as your boy, that from the architecture to the quality of his clothing to even just like the sky background itself being so plain and clear and birds flying about, this does seem to flat out be the spear. And I don't know. I don't think the average individual looks this drippy. So with the fit being as elaborate as it is, the scale of the castle, it seems like Tamzy is some sort of Spearwright royalty, or at least has direct ties to them. This actually does kind of explain a lot. Number one, how he knew at all about Rudo, his connection, quote unquote, to Regto and Regto's possession of the Watchmen series, and obviously Tamzy's ability to go from the spear to the ground with no problems at all. We know Rudo has direct ties to the Watchmen bloodline wise, which is why he was probably able to survive the fall with little issue or go between the two realms. But for Tamzy to be able to go back and forth, it's kind of speculation for the longest time. Some people assume that he wrapped himself up in his vital instrument, maybe surrounding himself in that energy allowed him to basically, trick the Watchmen. But now it seems like this may just be an inherent part of his bloodline, or something that he specifically has to do. On top of that, this does feed into the constant, lingering idea of what the heck Tamzy even wants with Rudo particularly, but considering he does have heart of the Watchmen series in terms of the book, and on top of that, does seem to have, access and resources far beyond our understanding, I wouldn't be shocked if he truly understands what dwells within Rudo and is trying to awaken that for a very specific purpose. Do I think Tamzy truly cares about this whole royal affair? Debatable? I don't know. It's a one-page thing, but it has so many implications that I'm really excited to see elaborated on eventually. Do I think it'll be anytime soon? No. But for the rest of the chapter 161 opening, we get to see the weaknesses of Rudo still laid bare, right? Ultimately, in spite of Rudo being giga-amped to a basic pseudo-godly or demi-godly extent here, he still is very much touchable. Maimo lands a good kick to his gut, sends the juice out his mouth, and sends him flying. And very specifically, I like how Rudo is being, not necessarily weakened, but being, what's the word I'm looking for here? Humanized. In the sense that even with all this power he's acquired, even with the extra knowledge of divinity that he has relative to the other people of the ground, even with this transcendental strength he's achieved through essentially attaining a merger of his own powers in the Watchmen series and Gontus's powers in the Watchmen series, and all the love and effort that was put into his costume, fused all into one super crazy giga being, he's still touchable, right? Maimo, even after losing an arm and being extremely damaged, is still able to hurt him. And notably, we see that the battle goes specifically in Maimo's favor by him consistently just poking and poking and poking at Rudo. I think that's very important to remember, right? Especially Rudo for the past couple chapters. He sort of seemed like this almost transcendent creature even before he literally became one, where he kind of just locked in absolutely. I'm a cleaner. This is my mission. Humans cannot become gods. That's stupid. You're a fool. Like ultimately he had kind of leveled up a whole lot. But this is a fantastic way to remind us that Rudo still has his own core motivations. Rudo is still just a boy. And ultimately, Rudo can't help but fall for this information that he's been desperate for, that he's been longing for. Information that, for all he knows, he could have gotten from, Kuro, or something like that, very easily. But instead of that, he went for what he felt was right in the moment. And now that is coming back to haunt him. And ultimately, I do like that Maimo is exploiting this, right? Notably, in spite of becoming this monstrous powerhouse, and even with the divide seemingly existing between, Maimo, the conscious master manipulator, and Maimo, the mad god of sorts, it still is something that he's able to use, manipulating Rudo through words in order to weaken him down just enough that he can be taken down. And of course, you know, the thing I really like is that Gontus intervenes with this. The idea that he's been manipulated even more than he thought. The idea that information from the many chokers that have been spread around has been stripped from his mind using Maimo's rule. And instead of, you know, falling into despair over that information and letting Rudo fall into despair, what does Gontus do? He reconnects with Rudo. He, in fact, amplifies him by essentially redirecting the confusion and awe and terror and concern and uncertainty about all the information that Maimo has and all the information that he has that he needs, that he ultimately knows he cannot get, or at least not get easily from Kuro, since ultimately he doesn't know where to find Kuro right now. And also, he knows that working with Kuro does pay a high price. By having Gontus come in, someone who also experienced Maimo's manipulation, another user of the Watchmen series, someone else who has felt a guilt and a lack of information for oh so long, to see these two work together and connect, and very specifically, the idea of Gontus being the shield to Rudo's sword, or realistically, the shield to Rudo's spear, while Maimo is the sword trying to pierce to Rudo's heart with words, and having it actually function and actually work to the point where Rudo's able to rebel against these feelings, that uncertainty, that chaos that Maimo brings.
Ooh, it's beautiful. That's scrumptious.
And I do like the idea that somehow this is going to backfire still. As triumphant as the chapter ends and as gorgeous as the art is, you know, Keirana Sensei, just a monster with the pen. Very specifically, the idea that the chapter ends with this statement from Rudo, right? Maimo, I just got another reason to I can't read. I just got another reason to beat you to a bloody pulp. I want you to tell me everything you know. So I'm gonna do my darndest to crunch the life out of you. It's over! Like many times before, I feel like we're not actually over. This is uncertainty that sits in my heart. And I think the reason I like it so much and the reason I'm so excited is because I'm not sure how it's going to backfire. We're in a position where realistically everything is won, right? With the assistance of Hyo in the previous chapters, the massive detonation threat that Maimo set up for the Doll Festival is taken care of. You know, Zonka's going to be fine now that Aisha's going to be healing him. You know, everyone else is, while damaged, mostly fine. No one died. And now Maimo's in a state of, as Gontus points out, a basic pseudo-immortality. Maimo attacks you with early information, but he keeps himself safe by holding the answer. So let's neutralize him and drag that answer out of him. There are a number of ways to make him talk. There are even givers on the ground who specialize in attracting information. I don't know if I go back right now, I don't neutralize without killing him. Not a problem. An invincible body. Those were his exact words. No need to hold back. It all sounds too good. You know what I'm talking about? It all sounds way too good. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to go wrong. Especially considering we don't really know how Maimo is going to deal with the fact that basically he's lost. While he almost lost his good mind at the end of last chapter and sort of needed to be talked by himself into exploiting Rudo's weaknesses as a being, we still don't know how he's going to now deal. What is his contingency plan? Especially with the idea that he is still separated internally as like two separate beings. This more sketchy, pure Maimo and the raging deity. I wonder how either will react to the fact that everything's fallen short, everything's fallen apart. I wouldn't be shocked if, one way or another, Rudo's still not allowed to learn. In fact, he got the most information he kinda needed with the idea of Regto's murderer belongs to the cleaners. That's going to raise questions. It's already going to stir up the dynamic that Rudo has with the cleaners. It's going to raise many more questions. And ultimately, I just don't see Tamzy getting out of this soon. Maybe that's me being crazy. Maybe that's me having a little bit too much fear of Arana Sensei's pen. But this chapter, while setting up Rudo and Gontus as a fantastic double duo, who I do definitely wonder, how on earth are they going to get nerfed from this point on? Because they're kind of cracked on their own. I know Rudo's going to lose this Giga Amp after the transformation power runs out, but still, Gontus being able to work with the cleaners to give them all Giga Amps, so seeing directly to their soul, that's gonna be a lot. So I'm very interested to see how the story is going to progress on from this point, considering we're basically kind of cliffing at a rapid rate. But overall, this is, in fact, a W chapter. I'm excited for next chapter. The main bet I have is something's going to backfire, and Maimo's quote-unquote invincible body is going to fail him in one way, shape, or form. Specifically, probably due to the fact that he's doing it wrong, right? Like, ultimately, one, humans cannot achieve divinity, and two, he's not wielding the power appropriately. But I'm out of time, so if you made all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave... I can't speak. Leave shield, spear, and sword. Shield, spear, and sword in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. So leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that link to notifications bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you can have a page down below where you can support me for as well as one month. You can get exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as well as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reactions, here are the series I have to review, ad-free reactions of all my videos, early ad-free access to all my videos, early ad-free access to all my videos on this channel, and also the second channel that got the reaction link in the description down below and in the card. On top of that, you will get your name listed at the end of literally every single video. If you're a $3 member or higher, you get your name, member or patron, or higher, you get your name listed at the end of literally every single video I ever produce. On top of that, I do have my Ko-Fi link down below where you can drop 5 minutes for a short video or 20 minutes for a long video. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, the thing is, what you're watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dag on the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, J2MA, Guillaume, Pura Ura, Enzo, Yuki Ally, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Romano Fiore, Dino, Hector Gonzalez, Tim Thomas, Kaving, Julian Perez, RXN, Nevis97, Logan Guzman, Dead Meme, Karu Deer, Christian Carter, Keon Stewart, Donovan McIntosh, Sino King, Hamza Idrisi, BNA DNA, Edwin Igbinoba, Straw, Athenzi Shear, Antavius Mitchell, Azo2404, Superflame Zero, Weary Exile, Sheesh King, Window Life, Alex Kenny, Victor Jacobs, Todd, Dre, Axis XC, The Practical One, Aswin Hedi Persetia, JMD KD, Devi Pesiet, Landon Clapwick, Heath Nelson, CAET, Funny Dude, Jagoda, Plant Crone, Striker Man, Brandon Payne, Black Sage, and Multi-Batman Superman. Then I'll leave a thank you to Artline Art Tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Dread Zoen, Midnight Lord 21, CJ, and Karina Hernandez. Then I'll leave a thank you to our Ink Tier members: King RTX, Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06, and Zom. Then I'll give a thank you to our Digital Art Tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our Colored Art Tier patrons: Walking Munoz and Walkie Munoz.